Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to the bookshelf for one more Clairin review on this sweltering summer day. So I previously did Meuze, which is the new kid on the block, but let's go back and catch the Velier bottlings because they're probably the most prominent among the Clairins at the moment. Let's start this off with Vaval here. One thing to say about these bottlings is they're all split off by year. They're all vintages, and due to the nature of Clairin, the unique varietals, the wild fermentation, you will get variation from vintage to vintage. So this particular bottle is the 2017 vintage. Bottled at 50.5% alcohol, so not a total firebomb, but pretty hot. So this is distilled at the what's the name of this? Distillery Arawaks. They put it on the front, not the back. In the village of Cavaillon, which is actually in the south of Haiti. Meuze is from the north, sort of up near Cap-Haïtien. This is sort of on the little peninsula that comes out on the southern edge. Kind of right in the middle of it. So, but what else is I saying? Madame Meuze, sugarcane, spontaneous fermentation, made in pot stills from cane juice, not cane syrup or molasses. So what I'm going to do, as normal, is taste this and nose this neat, add a little bit of water, talk a little bit while I wait for it to settle down, try it again with water, and then give it a score. Okay. These are fun. Nose. I love the nose in these things. Rum would not be your first thought. So the first thing that comes to my mind is, so I live in Chicago, and we have deep dish pizza here. This reminds me of nothing other than like reheating like a gigantic thing of Giordano's in an oven that's a little bit too hot. Maybe like you turn the broiler on accidentally. This smells like sort of slightly burning tomato sauce. That's sort of the lead note. But then beyond that, I mean, you've got sort of olives going on again. Olives a common note in this thing, in this style. Black and green olives, seawater, cumin actually. A little pickle, and a kind of herbaceousness. There's like it's slightly minty, but it's almost like I don't know if you could pickle mint, but if you could pickle mint, that's kind of what I'm getting on the nose. Cigar leaf, like natural leaf, not a Maduro. This is, we're in the Dominican Republic somewhere. It's sort of a natural leaf from there. Tar, kind of like stewed vegetable thing, like mushrooms and like a gumbo, basically. So sort of very, vegetal, very herbal. But like that, it's that sort of burned tomatoey thing that's holding it together. Okay, on the palate, this is bottled a little bit lighter than the Meuze was, so it should be a little bit easier to handle. Just explodes on the tongue. Again, these are not big fat rums like a Hamden or something like that. but they're very lean. They're very precise. This isn't like a striker. It's not a big strong man or something. So brine again is the big note, sort of concentrated seawater. Green olive. Tomato, I think it's more like sun-dried tomatoes on the palate than sort of deep dish pizza note. But the minty thing I was getting on the nose a little bit is really hitting hard on the palate. This is very like spearminty, like fresh spearmint. Tons of black pepper too. Tar again. Kind of like limey candy. If you could make not like more like lime peel. If you could make a candy out of like lime peel, including the white stuff, the pith in there, and you made like a candy out of that, that's a little bit of what I'm getting. And rooibos tea, weirdly enough. And that beef jerky note again that I got from the Milo, a little bit of savory. Okay, I'm gonna add some water to this. Two should be enough. Let's see. Okay, give that a minute. So, I mean, Haiti has a long history with rum, actually. Fascinating country, by the way. I am not adequate to talk about the history, but we're talking about the first country to be formed by slave revolt in the world. The French Revolution happened. Freedom for slaves was declared, but not really. And then it was sort of undeclared by Napoleon later. There was a huge 15-year period of civil war. The Spaniards were involved. The English were involved. The Poles were involved. Everyone was involved. And then things kind of stabilized for a little bit. And then the Americans showed up and screwed everything. But if you want to know about American imperialism, don't think about like the last 20 years. Go back and look at like Haiti, man. We did some bad shit. Anyhow, I would say like the most important date to consider in that is around the sort of early 1840s, basically due to pressure from Europe. Haiti wasn't exporting sugar anymore. It was keeping a little bit of this sort of big cash crop really ceased to be useful because it couldn't trade with Europe really anymore. France didn't want it, and they had trouble getting rid of this stuff, so they just kept it around, kind of for themselves for the most part. It changed a little bit as time went on, but for the most part, it was just sort of for their own use and cultivation. And I think that's where a lot of this tradition of rum making comes from. You do have, of course, Barbancourt coming in, French guy, to start distillation around, further in the southeast of the country, around the 1860s or so. But rum was being made before then, from these, wild cane varietals that were, it wasn't really useful to them as an export, so it was just kind of, growing. And came useful later, of course, but so you have Barbancourt establishing its own big thing, and but at the same time, and by the way, using pot stills in the process initially. They switched over to column in the last, not that long ago, maybe only about 20 or 30 years ago. I think they switched to column stills. The rest of the country, all these little micro distilleries kept to the old method, kept to column stills, and Velier and a bunch of others have started bringing them out and gotten a lesson for it. So let's try this Vaval again. Brought down a little bit. And this is why I love these things. Not every spirit benefits from water, but these really just kind of totally change once you put water to them. This okay, so the brine has come out more, but I swear to God, this just noses exactly like mint tea, like herbal mint tea. Tomato kind of pulls back, but then you have the more that sort of tea note, more cigar leaf too. That tar thing comes out too. It's sort of floral, like a lavender maybe. That gumbo thing is still going on. It's just a busy nose. Lots of little bits and details. You could spend hours on this nose. On the palate, ooh, even bigger than it is neat, actually. Whew. Very peppery. Just black pepper, that sort of Scotch bonnet thing. You get an island cuisine. But then that spearmint note is really dominating right now. It's kind of a sweet spearmint, like still herbal, but kind of like lightly sweetened. It's like still olives there, but there's something. Hang on. Yeah, mint tea again. Cucumber and zucchini, sort of those two, and sort of lost a lot of the pickle from the beginning, but it's the it's come back in original cucumber and zucchini form, and even like a Chinese food, like bad American, like sweet and sour sauce, sweet and sour pork kind of comes through when you add water, but it's also just gonna. I know from experience that if I leave this sitting right here on this hot ass table, it will continue to evolve for me for the next hour or so. This is just dense stuff. One more time. I'm completely sold. Yum. This is cerebral stuff. I'm sure people could make cocktails out of this, but because it's not a big, fat, aggressive spirit like something from Jamaica or whatever. It doesn't strike. It strikes me as a better sipper than sort of a cocktail. Something you could use as a foundation for a highball or something. It's just so complex and dense and interesting. If you are a mezcal fan and for some reason you're watching this, go spend your $40 on this bottle rather than another mezcal. Considering the prices that those things are getting at, you will be well served. I'm gonna score this 88 plus out of 100. So we're sort of verging on high seriousness here. This is just very good. You have to like this style. This is not fruity. This is very green and vegetal, and herbal. This is wild stuff, and I absolutely love it. And it is well worth your time if you're interested in characterful spirits. That's about all I got. Thanks for watching. Cheers.